Every person who can hear me right now, I want to say this before we get started because, frankly, it needs to be said. And you, as a person, whether you are new here or a veteran, you need to hear this. Firstly, as an entertainer, thank you for stopping by. You didn't have to. You don't owe me your time, but I just want to say thank you for just watching me. If you're new here, the only thing that I ask of you is that you enjoy yourself. And if you did, then that means I've done my job. To everyone else, it's always a happy day whenever I get to do what I love. So thank you for giving me that opportunity. Now that we got that out of the way, we can begin! Let's get started, shall we? Yo, peoples! Kyushu92 here, and welcome back to yet another One Piece chapter reaction and review. In the last chapter, we had the greatest punch in One Piece, where Kuma punches Saint Saturn directly in the face and hit him so hard that he also wound up taking off his arm in the process. But, apparently we are seeing some OP level devil fruits. So Garcia just straight up regenerates his lost arm, regenerates his horn, and then after everything transpires, Jay Garcia Saturn enacts the Buster Call of Egghead. So that's where we're at right now. But let us begin with chapter 1105, The Height of Folly. Reader request, Carrot cooking a stew and preferably taste testing it, because I honestly feel like it's a stew that's just full of carrots, because it has her cooking a stew as Nekomamushi and Inuarashi are really wanting to get some more of that stew. Now remember, during the ending of Wano, Carrot was named the new ruler of the Mokumo Dukedom, while Inuarashi and Nekomamushi decided to stay in Wano to continue as the vassals of the Kozuki family. So, honestly, I wonder how Carrot's doing. I mean, with Shishilian and Wanda and pretty much everybody else supporting her, I'm pretty sure that Carrot's doing fine back on Zou. But that's the story for another time. As we get the Navy preparing to book it, because a Buster Call's about to happen.
All ships prepare to fire. All sailors, leave the island. Retreat to your ships.
As all the Navy sailors are preparing to get out. What's happening in the center?
No idea, just follow orders.
And we have Vice Admiral Dahl here.
Saint Saturn, Admiral Borsalino, hurry to the ship.
And Kizaru is just standing there with Saturn.
Kizaru and I will remain on the island.
I knew it was gonna creep up. I'm almost out. I'm almost completely out. I need to do this Jay Garcia voice.
Kizaru and I will remain on the island. Begin the bombardment when the ships are ready.
Huh? But...
And then Kizaru just says, go.
Yes, sir.
I thought my life was the only thing you wanted, Saint Saturn!
And Vegapunk is standing here in front of both Kizaru and Saturn.
Egghead is packed with the fruits! Is packed with the fruits of the latest research in every conceivable field! Destroy it, and you'll set the state of scientific progress back 100 years! Call off the Buster Call! Please, Kizaru!
And Kizaru just looks away.
Are you still hiding something? Perhaps something troublesome to the world government. We do not need progress.
It's for the sake of humanity!
I did forget to mention that I ordered a strike against the ship that escaped this island yesterday.
Remember, the people, everyone else on Egghead was evacuated. Remember, Saturn ordered them to sink that ship. You know, that ship that was full of innocent civilians and researchers who were just working with Vegapunk, who were just living their lives being researchers here on Egghead. Yeah, remember that? Yeah, it's so nice of Jay Garcia to remind us of why he's a piece of trash.
What?
After all, it's possible that someone on board knew something about the Void Sentry. I sent battleships after it to ensure there would be no survivors.
How could you do such a thing? They know nothing. They've committed no crimes.
You caused this to happen to them, Vegapunk. You broke the law, just as they did at Ohara. You could not overcome your lust for knowledge, and so you had to go digging up the past.
And then Vegapunk goes from a state of shock and exasperation to one of pure anger. I've never seen Vegapunk with just completely angered, furrowed brows before, but he's angry!
Pacifistas are on standby mode on the island. All other sailors, get to the ships.
And then everyone else is leaving while the pacifistas are staying behind. Ship 54, all green!
Ship 21, all green.
Then we got Sanji here, as we still have Atlas and Frankie bringing him to the Labo phase.
Hurry, get in the vacuum rocket while Vegapunk is distracting those guys.
And then we have Atlas going,
We'll meet up at the back entrance of the Labo phase.
oh wait, that's still Sanji.
We'll meet up at the back entrance of the Labo phase.
Got it.
And then we have Bonnie.
Sanji, what about Vegapunk?
Don't worry, Bonnie. I'll bring him back.
And then Sanji just gives him a smile. And then he just goes, choo-choo, and he chimes into,
Come in, Nami. This is me. What's the situation?
We're already at the back door. What's all the noise down there?
because we haven't caught back to the rest of the Straw Hat crew about what's going on. Like, what's going on with them. But now we're here at the Labo phase.
A buster call?
And this is Chopper screaming. And then we have Usopp. We haven't seen the rest of the Straw Hats in so long because we've been so focused on everyone in the Fabrio phase and Kuma's Pass. So it's been a hot minute. This is the first time we're seeing the rest of the Straw Hats in several weeks. It's, I want to say, a good month or so. It's been a while. But then we have Usopp. Labo phase, rear entrance.
This island's done for!
What about Luffy? He's with you, right?
And this is Nami.
Not in my line of sight at the moment, but he's fine. Focus on yourselves.
Now, that's a good question, though. Where's Luffy? Because he was just laying down in front of Jay Garcia. Then all of a sudden, he had food in front of him. And then, next thing we know, he's gone. Luffy is gone. He is the only person who's unaccounted for other than Zoro. But Luffy's gone. How do you just slip away from everybody and no one knows where you went? The heck?
Not in my line of sight at the moment, but he's fine. Focus on yourselves.
Zoro's still being held up by Lucci. So Jinbei went to put a stop to that and get him from getting lost and keep him from getting lost.
Wow, Jinbei just all like,
Fine by me. Let me find out where Rob Lucci is so we can get Zoro back so we can leave.
I love doing all these voices for all these characters. I really do.
Stella, I'm so worried. After they moved us, Sunny, Luffy, Frankie, and Bonnie went down towards you. So Brooke went to help Lilith, who got left behind.
And this is Edison saying all this. And then we have Robin, who's sitting inside of this like floating, I wouldn't say floating cradle, but she's bandaged up, Chopper's looking after her, and yeah, she's on like this floating, I wouldn't say call it a gurney. I would call it like a recuperation bed of some kind. It's a soft bed for Robin to be transported in because she's physically not up. With Chopper going,
You can lay down, Robin.
then we have Usopp going,
How many times are we gonna deal with buster calls? Let's get out of here! Hurry up, people!
and then we have Nami.
The problem is, the escape plan where the Vega Force 1 takes us from here to the shore isn't going to work anymore. Kizaru ruined it when he destroyed the robot.
What?
You see, in my hands, moving a ship across land.
Oh wait, this is Lilith.
You see, in my hands, moving a ship across land is but a piece of cake.
Very nice.
Very nice.
Oh wait. This is Brooke saying this. You see, in my hands, moving a ship across land is but a piece of cake. Yo!
Very Very nice work, Bones. We'll be back at the rear entrance in no time.
As the Sunny is going full tilt towards the back entrance.
Who would have thought of turning island clouds to ice for a runway?
Oh, that's smart. Yo, Brooke with the Soul Solid. Freezing the clouds so that the Sunny can get moving.
Brilliant idea and execution.
Yo! A compliment from the world's greatest genius. That makes anyone blush.
So, how do you stop it at the end?
Oh, I hadn't thought that far ahead.
Then we're gonna slip right off! We're gonna slip right off!
And then Lilith just slaps Brooke because they're moving, but they don't exactly have a way to stop.
What's your plan then, genius?
What do you think it should be, Lilith? Then we cut back to another area.
The lava phase above the clouds is still behind its barrier.
Oh wait.
The lava phase above the clouds is still behind its barrier.
And then the warships, all of them, just start to aim at the lava phase.
Fire cannons!
And this is one of the I can't say it's a vice admiral, but I want to say it's like either a captain or somebody who just says,
Fire cannons! Begin bombardment!
Ah, I'm not on board yet!
Destroy the central factory and future city!
"Careful of the pacifistas!" And all the cannons, they just start opening fire on Egghead. And then the pacifistas start opening fire. And then it just shows Vegapunk, who's watching everything. All his life's work just slowly being destroyed by the mother of all Buster Calls.
This is Fabrial.
And then we have Atlas, who's riding on the hypercapsule going,
This is Fabrial phase. Next stop, Lava phase.
oh wait,
This is Favio phase. Next stop, Labo phase.
Here we go. Vacuum rocket.
Whoa, what is this? It's so fast!
because Frankie's never been inside the vacuum tube before. We seen Luffy when he was, using Gear 5, and then they had to get back up there.
Estimated travel time.
And then some light just shoots up right next to the tube.
Estimated travel time, 32 seconds.
And it's Kizaru with Amano Murakumo sword. And he cuts straight through the hypercapsule, the tubing and the hypercapsule itself. And, well, people start falling out. They shoot through the air. And people just start falling out.
Darn it, Kizaru! Hang on, Bonnie, I'll save you! Pacifistas! It's just exquisite.
And this is Jay Garcia thinking to himself,
Shoot down Bonnie and Kuma, the daughter he gave his life to save, killed by his own clone.
goes Bonnie, who's in her adult state, while Kuma is holding on to her, while Atlas and Frankie and Bonnie and Kuma are still airborne as we see the glistening lights of pacifistas aiming for them.
A fitting end for the insect she is. It is the height of folly.
And then we see Bonnie, who looks at Vegapunk.
When I heard you become a pirate, Bonnie, there was one awful possibility that flashed through my mind. That the Navy might order the pacifistas taking your father's form to shoot his own daughter without realizing the irony of it.
And Vegapunk watches with shocked eyes as the pacifistas are aiming towards them. Then we cut to a whole bunch of Navy officials. We see the rest of these Navy officials aiming at Luffy, who's in another part of Egghead, and he's just completely stuffed with food. Hey, that's Straw Hat, right?
Can't eat anymore. Can't move.
Capture him! He's one of the 4 emperors! And then we cut to another location. Yo! And we get what we get in the last panel are destroyed Navy vessels destroyed Navy vessels on fire as we see the words, "We failed to destroy the escape ship. Must report back to Kizaru. Tell him they went to Egghead." As all the Navy ships that Jay Garcia sent after that one ship that left Egghead, of all the people who evacuated, yeah, it never got destroyed because someone destroyed those warships that went after them. I don't know who they are. I don't know if it's Blackbeard and some of his members of his crew, because remember, the Blackbeard pirates, some of them were outside of Egghead, or was it the revolutionaries? All I know is someone saved that ship because all the other ships that went after them completely and utterly destroyed. They're sinking in the water. So it's anyone's guess who saved these civilians. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the end of chapter 1105. Yo! And we're not going on break. We're not going on break from a chapter like this. We're not going on break. So let me see what you guys have said. First, let me acknowledge Cohagen, Ozzy, Halster, Ogata, Finding. Good to see all of you. It's good to see all of you. And I highly doubt it was Blackbeard who would save civilians in the process. So either it's the revolutionaries. I mean, it's anyone's guess. It's anyone's guess who saved those civilians. The very thing that Jay Garcia was, holding over Vegapunk at the beginning of this, letting him know that I ordered them to destroy that ship. We couldn't risk anyone knowing about the Void Sentry in there, so I had them killed. But another thing to note about this is that Jay Garcia is not just enacting the Buster Call because of what Vegapunk did. He's also doing it on the chance that even though Vegapunk is saying, like, there's so much research here, you're going to set back the state of scientific progress back 100 years. And the first thing that pops into Saturn's mind is like, are you still hiding something? Perhaps something troublesome to the world government? The fact that he's acknowledging that Vegapunk could possibly know something that could be of great trouble to the world government other than the Void Sentry knowledge that he knows means that he's destroying this whole place because, honestly, I talked about this when Vegapunk first was talking about trying to create endless, boundless energy for everyone. And I said that this is something that the world government would not allow because then if it was free for everyone, then it would not be in a monopoly. It would not be a monopoly that the world government could control. Because if it was free for everybody, free, renewable, fresh energy for every living person on the planet, it would not be something that the world government can control. And if the world government can't control it, they destroy it. So I'm just thinking, Vegapunk, I would not be surprised if there are plenty other things that Vegapunk sees as beneficial for mankind, but the world government, and namely the Gorosei and Im-sama, would see it as an affront to them. As like, if this is something that could be given to everyone, free for everyone, then it's not something that we can control. And especially if it's, endless, boundless energy. Certain nations wouldn't have to rely on the world government for that. Not be affiliated with them. We can't have that. We need everybody under our thumb. We need everybody subservient to the world government. And if they're not able to do that, then we either wipe them off the map or just treat them as lawless lands that anyone can do whatever they want with. Because it's all about control, This is a whole thing. It's always been about control. Every single time someone does something that's out of the control of the world government, they either get killed or they get killed or sold into slavery, pretty much. Whenever it gets out of the world government's hands, they either destroy it or try to bring it under heel in a more forceful manner. So this is just another instance of like them trying to control stuff again. They try to control the knowledge of the Void Century, yet people keep finding ways to learn about it. So the only thing they can think of is they know the knowledge. They are not going to follow us. And even though they said, like, we're not going to tell the world anything, let's not take that chance. Let's kill them. If there's even a 0.001% chance that they can know something, then everybody has to die. I really cannot wait to find out the knowledge of the Void Century. This coveted knowledge of the Void Century and why the world government goes to such extreme lengths, like we're in the middle of a Buster Call right now on the scientific pinnacle of the world, where technological advancements are literal centuries beyond what any living person could even fathom to get close to replicating, with Vegapunk being the only person who's been able to do so. We're at a point, right, whatever knowledge the Void Century is that has the world government so bent on destroying Vegapunk, all of his satellites, because that's really the whole matter right here. It was really the whole purpose of CP0 coming to Egghead, to kill Vegapunk. And then they had all these warships come in to destroy the entire island. It's literally Ohara all over again. But I cannot wait to find out the knowledge of the Void Century and why the world government has been trying so hard to hide it. I literally cannot wait to find out this big mystery that the world government is pretty keen and pretty okay with killing any and all individuals who know about it instantly, wiping out entire kingdoms on a whim. I just can't wait to find out that knowledge. So the big thing to take away from this is that Kizaru, still the company man. He's not like having inner thoughts where he's second guessing himself. He's just like, he literally said he's a cog in the machine. He's just standing here with Jay Garcia. Both of them are going to be on the island while the bombardment happens. So my thing is like, this kind of reminds me of how Madara and Mu just stood there in the midst of the entire army during the Fourth Great Ninja War, and Madara brought down an entire meteor on everybody. Not one, but two, because he's ridiculous like that. And he was okay with him and Mu being there, since they were reanimations. They were just going to reform after, the destruction happened. Here, it kind of reminds me of that with Jay Garcia and Kizaru, where both of them are fully capable of surviving the bombardment. One man is capable of turning into a light because he's a Logia, and another one is capable of just full body regeneration. So it's just like that. They're just going to watch everything happen while they're on the island, because they can't necessarily be killed by the means that's going to destroy this whole island. Like I said, one's a Logia, one's a regenerating demon man. One's a regenerating demon ox. An ox Oni, if you will. An Ushi Oni, if you will. So they're just going to stay behind. Even Vice Admiral Dahl is like, she's trying to protest, saying like, she's trying to tell them to get to the ship, but Jay Garcia and Kizaru are going to stay behind. And even she's all like, I don't understand this. And Kizaru is just looking at her, just going, just go. And then everyone leaves. And then we get the anger of Vegapunk, saying that everything he's done has been for the sake of humanity. But Saturn, being the absolute tool that he is just thinking like, yeah, I don't care. Because it could have something that could be used against the world government. So we're just going to destroy it anyway. So, of course, and the thing is, Saturn says we don't need progress. That gives you a good idea of how the Gorosei view the world itself. They don't want what the heck? What is this black bar underneath? Oh, wait. Am I looking at something wrong here? Why is there a... That's weird. Hold on. Let me refresh my image here, because there's a black bar under everything that I'm doing right now, and that should not be there. And there's no black bar. Is there a black bar? Do you guys see a black bar at the bottom? No, it's just some weird black bar. It's just some weird black bar that's on my playback. That's weird. But it just shows you the mindset of Jay Garcia. The world doesn't need to progress. The world doesn't need to get better. It just needs to stay the way it is. Skip, good to see you. Vegapunk let them hang to the floor. He does not fear Saturn. No, he doesn't. He doesn't. But I still need to stress this. The world of One Piece is a place. How about the robot? That same one that was activating when Luffy was same one that activated when Luffy went Gear 5. We still haven't seen it. It turned on, but we haven't seen it yet. So thank you. Thank you, Finding, for bringing that up, because we haven't seen that robot do anything quite yet. We've seen it turn on for the first time in centuries. We've seen it turn on, but we haven't seen it yet. We haven't seen it yet. But the big thing to take away from this, as far as the mindset of the Gorosei, at least that of Saturn, is that the world does not need to progress. The world does not need to advance. It needs to stay the same. It needs to stay the same. We don't... One thing I say when I look at it is when he says we do not need progress. I love how he lumps in the entire world. We don't need progress. The world doesn't need progress. It needs to stay the same. The status quo needs to stay the same. We don't need technological advancements that can make everybody's life better, because that would just change things, and we don't need change. We don't need progress. We don't need the world to get better. We don't need the betterment of everyone's lives to be greater than it's ever been. We need everyone to stay where they are. As insects. We don't need insects having better lives. We don't need insects having renewable energy. We don't need insects having better lives for their families, because they're just that. Insects. Insects don't need progress. That's the mentality of Saturn right now. I apologize if I'm going on a rant right now, but just seeing how this man operates, just from these words, I can tell that he's a person that likes things to stay as they are. Given he's an individual who's been essentially the same ever since before the start of the series, because we don't know how long the Gorosei have been around. We just know they've been around, but we do know that they have not changed at all. Physically. So who knows what has been done to them for them to have the mindset of we don't need progress. So as this is happening, he lets them know that he had the ship destroyed. But of course, we find out at the end of this chapter that the ships that went after the evacuees, those ships were completely and utterly destroyed. By who? We don't know, but those ships are gone now. And then Vegapunk just shows his true anger, like the true anger as he stands in front of Jay Garcia when he's telling him all the knowledge, saying like, you caused this to happen to them, Vegapunk. You broke the law just as they did at Ohara. You could not overcome your lust for knowledge, and so you had to go digging up the past. And they really don't like anyone learning about the Void Century. Because I said this before, and I'm not the only person to make this statement. They fear the exact moment when the world learns about the Void Century, because that knowledge could will turn the entire world government on its head. That very knowledge, it's not the fact that people would know about it. It's just the fact that with that knowledge, everything that the world government has stood to gain from keeping that secret would just completely upend itself. What if the twist is it no longer at Egghead? I doubt we'll be at Egghead. I'm just saying, imagine we cut back to Marigewa and it's attacking again. Swear if the giant robot purpose is similar to what Zunisha did in Wano, I'm going to be disappointed. We'll have to see. According to Saturn, the world must remain stagnant. Exactly. That's how you keep everybody in line. When there's no change, no hope, when there's no possibility that people's lives could get better, then you put them in a state of, maybe things aren't going to change for the better. Maybe there's no reason for us to rebel. Maybe there's no reason for us to attempt to make better lives for ourselves. I guess we just have to live life the way it is. I guess we just have to deal with it, because nothing's ever going to change. With a mindset like that, And especially with as downtrodden as a lot of entire countries can be, that type of mindset is very beneficial to the world government, because then you'll either have slaves or you'll have people who will do everything they can to be on the world government's good side, to be affiliated with them, give their lives for the world government, while the world government does not care about civilians. And when I say the world government, I mean specifically the Gorosei and the Celestial Dragons and Im-sama, since they see everyone that lives below Marie Joie as just mere crawling insects whose only being is to fulfill the will of the world government. It's crazy. It's crazy. Who else do we know tried to study the past? Well, obviously, the scholars of Ohara. I would not be surprised if Rox dabbled into it due to the fact that his crimes against the world government and why he was so, infamous was that he was always looking into things that were taboo. And looking into the Void Century is quite possibly the most taboo thing, at least as far as the world government is concerned, that you could ever possibly do in the world. So I would not be surprised if Rox was trying to find out things about the Void Century as well. He was a very knowledgeable individual because he was always looking into things that should not be looked into. So the world government and the Void Century, I'm pretty sure he would look into those as well. But I'm only going off of what Sengoku said when he was describing Rox during the whole Ultimate chapter, back in 950-something. I'm assuming Rox and Blackbeard have knowledge of the past. I would not be surprised if Blackbeard knows some stuff, because he's very knowledgeable as well. And he's extremely knowledgeable. So I wouldn't be surprised if Blackbeard's been looking into things too. I mean, aside from him going after Devil Fruit users and such, and him just being the epitome of what a pirate actually is, I would not be surprised if in off time he's learning stuff as well. And Roger knew about the Void Century as well. Yes, the entire Roger crew knew about it as well. Was Pedro and the Nox Pirates doing it too? I remember they were doing stuff to do with the past. Possibly. I gotta look him up. But I gotta stay focused here because we got My Hero after this and no Jujutsu because that's on break. But if you guys will indulge me, if you guys don't mind, I like talking about One Piece stuff with you. Though I should save a lot of what I want to say for the reflections that is going to be on Wednesday. Yeah. So I'll say what I want to say about this chapter, but I'll save everything I want to say about the chapters as a whole, and then, the future of One Piece and where we will end up in February for my One Piece reflection stream on Wednesday. So I'll save it for that. So the Straw Hats are getting everybody ready. Hurry, get in the vacuum rocket. Everyone's getting everyone ready. This is the first time we see Nami, Chopper, Robin, Usopp, and Edison, who was, heavily damaged. This is the first time of us seeing them ever since the whole big old plan went down, before Kizaru used Luffy as a living railgun round and destroyed the Vega Force 1, which kind of messed up their plans. We see them, and we see, not York, but we see Lilith, who's traveling with Brook. And Brook has used Soul Solid to freeze the clouds to allow the Sunny to, get back and forth very quickly. Of course, Brook didn't really think it all the way through, didn't plan that far ahead, and they have no way to stop. So now the Sunny is just on a one-shot course, going across the clouds, over ice, with absolutely no way to stop. And as that's going on, the Buster Call gets started, the Pacifistas and the warships, they just start destroying Egghead, like the city that we've seen in the recent episodes of One Piece. They start getting destroyed all around Egghead, and even Vegapunk says, "Egghead." And mind you, I didn't see him say these words initially because the words kind of blended in with the black apple top of his skull. So I kind of missed him saying Egghead as he's just on his knees watching his life's work being pretty much destroyed. Because remember, during Kuma's past, we saw Egghead being built up. We saw it being built up from just like a couple of buildings into the giant futuristic cityscape that it is now. And now all of that's being destroyed. Countless years of research being destroyed just because Jay Garcia and them is scared of the Void Century knowledge being known by literally anyone. It shows you just how powerful a secret this is if they don't want anyone to know. That's how powerful it could be used against them. Oh, I can't wait to find out what it is. But while they're going, they go up the chute. Kizaru uses Amaro Murakumo and cuts not only the tube, but also the front half of the tubing and destroys that. And everyone starts to fall out, including Kuma and Bonnie. Vega and then Jay Garcia orders the pacifistas to aim and shoot down Bonnie and Kuma, specifically Bonnie and Kuma. And he's just reveling in them potentially dying in the air here. He literally thinks to himself, it's just exquisite. He's finding satisfaction in potentially watching Kuma and Bonnie die. He's enjoying this. It's because you don't use words like exquisite for any other thing, for anything other than something that you find great, immense joy or pleasure in. You don't use exquisite is used for. You know what? We're about to have English class. So real quick, and mind you, I can't see a whole bunch of what you're saying in chat if anyone's saying anything because I've been going on a full tirade right now. So let us look up the word exquisite. Exquisite, extremely beautiful, and typically delicate. That's when it's used as an adjective. So if I go down to more descriptions for it, intensely felt, or highly sensitive, or discriminating. He is feeling so much jubilation on the very chance that Bonnie and Kuma could die. He's just enjoying this. Now, let me see what you guys have said real quick. Oh, no, I disrespected the dead. I'm sorry, Pedro. Oh, you misspelled it. You pulled a Luffy? Yeah, I'm looking forward to Wednesday. If Dragon arrives, do you think Saturn will survive this arc? I don't know. We really do need to think about the Devil Fruit power and just Jay Garcia as a whole. Exquisite would describe a tasty meal? Yes, I'm actually kind of hungry. Whatever happens to Saturn, it has to be so substantially, massively done to him that it would override his regeneration. He had his horn blown off and destroyed. He had his entire arm destroyed, and it just regenerated right then on the spot as soon as he got up from underneath the rubble. Whatever happens to Jay Garcia, it needs to be more than what Kuma did to him. And mind you, Kuma is incredibly strong. He didn't even use his own Devil Fruit power against him. He just used Haki and punched Jay Garcia, and all that damage was done to him. But whatever's done to Jay Garcia to put him out of commission permanently has to override his literal high-speed regeneration. Now, my thing is, we are seeing a high level of power right now. And the reason why I say this is because there's not many people in this entire series who can heal themselves. Just full body regenerate themselves. The only people I know who can reconstitute themselves are Logias and Marco. Marco, because of his uniqueness as a mythical type, and Logias because of, well, their ability to reform themselves from their own elements. We don't see many Devil Fruit users, let alone people who have high levels of full body cellular regeneration. That alone makes Saturn a very significant threat. See, we see a lot of people tank a lot of damage. We see them get hit all over, suffer damage on the inside, from Doflamingo to Big Mom, and all these individuals that have suffered damage on the inside, but none of them have shown the ability to just fully regenerate themselves at high speeds. That is something you would normally attribute to a Paramecia type, and yet we haven't seen a Paramecia type that allows a person to regenerate. I'm not counting Buggy, because Buggy's whole deal is that he can split his body up. And even then, he's not immune to the effects of being damaged by people more powerful than him due to his encounter with Crocodile and Mihawk. But we have an individual in One Piece right now who can regenerate at high speeds. That's a very significant concern, because it means that whatever you do to them, they can just regenerate. And it's not just like levels of like, oh, they get stabbed in the chest. Even when the blood of this individual just completely disappears and they take the sword out and they're completely regenerated, or they have an entire horn regenerate instantly, or an entire arm gets regenerated instantly, that's a high level of durability that we don't see all that often with a lot of characters. We see straightforward durability, the ability to tank, but the ability to regenerate is something that you don't really see in One Piece, and it's been on my mind for the past several days. Being able to regenerate in this world is a very major thing, and it's not Logia related. We don't know if it's the full extent of whether or not he's, had the eternal surgery done on him, or if it's a facet of his devil fruit power. We don't know. But whatever's done to Saturn to put him out of commission so that the Gorosei become the Forosei, it has to be beyond anything that's been done to Saturn this entire time. It has to be far greater than what Kuma's done. It has to be far greater than anything we've ever seen. Because being able to regenerate is not something to scoff at. That's an overpowered ability. It's a pretty basic ability, but it's overpowered. So whatever gets done to Saturn has to stick. It has to, and like Eddie said, what Ozzy said, he has to be destroyed at the cellular level, to the point where there's nothing for him to regenerate from. If this is part of his devil fruit power, that devil fruit has to be nullified, and then he needs to be killed. And if it's not that, then his whole body needs to be completely and utterly destroyed beyond the ability for him to regenerate. That's the only way it's gonna be done. Please tell me Dragon can take out Saturn. We don't know. But I will say this, though. For all the times we see Dragon, but we don't actually see him fight, I honestly think Dragon can do some stuff. He ain't just the world's most dangerous man just because he commands the Revolutionary Army. No, I honestly feel like that Joker's strong. I honestly feel... Ozzy, your new nickname is now Eddie. No, it isn't. Don't even start. Yeah, you like that, Kohagen Photosei? The Gorosei go from the Gorosei to the Photosei. You like that? I came up with that. But I honestly feel like Dragon can do some stuff. We don't see him do too much, but he can do some stuff. We didn't see Shanks do too much. And look what happened. That man one-shot Kid, Killer, and his entire crew. One move, one divine departure, and he obliterated Kid and his crew. Utterly destroyed them. Their ship is gone. And that's something we've seen from Shanks. And we always thought, we keep hyping up Shanks, we're not seeing him do much. But then he started doing some stuff. And now Shanks is that man. I honestly feel like Dragon can do some stuff. We just haven't seen it yet because it's not time. Oda is very careful whenever he plans these sort of things out, but it's not time. It's not time. And now we got this whole week to wonder who destroyed the warships that went after the civilians. It's anyone's guess who it could have been. But all I can say is that what we have here is a whole bunch going on, and it just keeps getting better. Now, we got a grand total of, I want to say, 3 chapters for the month of January. We got the rest of this week to think about where do we go from here. February ought to be interesting because things are already coming to a head. The Buster Calls already started. We got Kizaru and Saturn staying behind to watch it all go down because they're pretty much the only people that will be able to survive a full-on Buster Call because of their abilities. It's anyone's guess what's going to happen in the next chapter, but I'm grateful that we don't have a break. Family? Oh, it's family! All right. So everyone, what is the lesson we learned from this chapter? Any answer will do. Look how long it took us to see how powerful Roger was. I'm not worried at all when it comes to Dragon. Neither am I. There's a possibility of a One Punch Man chapter this week. I'll keep an eye on it. They tend to drop on Wednesdays, and I know I'm going to be busy because I'm going to be playing Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League for you guys this week. It's going to be a whole series. So I got to make sure that I don't overburden myself for just in case a One Punch Man chapter does drop. Because then on Wednesday, if it does drop on Wednesday, I got to do that. Then I got to do reflections. And then I got to do a whole session for Suicide Squad because I'm dedicating a lot of time to it. So we'll see. We'll cross that bridge when we get to it, Okada. Thank you for keeping that in mind because I've been wondering about the next chapter as well. But we'll keep that in mind. Shank's probably drinking with Bartolomeo right now. We don't know. But one thing that I can say that I feel like everyone will agree with is that Saturn's got to go. He has got to go. Him just reveling in the fact that, like,
Oh, the man who went out of his way to save his daughter is now about to be killed by his own clones.
like he's got to go. He has got to go, and I can't wait to see him go because that's going to be something that shakes up the entire world if one member of the Gorosei does not return to Marijois. But, like I said, we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. We'll talk more about the state of One Piece and pretty much everything else. I'll probably bring up these topics again for this week's reflection stream. So I hope to see you all there when we get there. But overall, this was a good chapter, but we're not done yet. Because Luffy's been found by a whole bunch of Navy dudes and he's just stuffed with food and they're going to try and arrest him. So that's going to be interesting to see if that even comes to pass. So we got a whole week to wonder about what the next chapter is going to be and a whole reflection stream to go over this week where we all get to talk about everything. But I'm done. I've taken up so much of your time already, though I do thank you for your patience because I mean, you guys really don't owe me your time, but I'm just blessed that you guys, stick around. Thank you for that. This at times can be a trying job, but knowing that I get to entertain individuals like you make this all worthwhile. Now, I'm going to go ahead and get started with My Hero because family's going to get food. Family's going to get food and I want to eat it when they return. So next up, we got My Hero. And then I am done with reactions for today since there is no Jujutsu. And then I'm just going to relax a little bit. I still got a little in my throat a little bit. I want to make sure I get it all out before I start Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League for you guys this week. But I'm done. Hope you all enjoyed. Can't wait to see you all in my next video. Like, comment, subscribe, even become a member because that does help the channel, and you guys can also help have things put on the channel with that membership as well, because I really did revamp my membership for all of you to make it even better and, more worth your time, because it really wasn't, and I'm sorry for that. So I revamped it. You guys look through it, let me know what you think. And because I am always sorry, I get so caught up trying to be, honest with you guys. All I can really say is because I am always looking forward to entertaining you. So have a fantastic day. And once again, as always, later, peoples, on to My Hero. Oh, and I just saw that creep up down there at the bottom. Thank you, Ozzy, for being a member for 19 months. My goodness. Give it up for him. He must be acknowledged. You know what? I just realized that I had such low volume to give Ozzy, the acknowledgement. I gotta do that again. It must be done again. There we go. Much better. Much better.